Welcome everyone to episode 1 of Healthy Leads. We are super excited to be kicking off this show today. We've got an awesome episode coming up talking about how Google is the biggest AI machine that no one is talking about. Angel, I think you're actually the perfect person to talk about all things Google and like PPC with your background. So I'm super excited to talk with you about this.
I'm super excited as well, man. Appreciate it.
There's gonna be a lot of good takeaways on just like Google as like a whole platform and how you can like leverage it in your PPC campaigns. And so I really was just like want to kick it off. Like, let's understand Google as a whole. It's a huge platform. You have Gmail, you have Google Ads, of course, what we're going to talk about. You have Google Calendar, all these different apps. So let's just understand a little bit more holistically as Google. Like, what are take us through the Google platform. Let's kick it off there.
Yeah. So basically, what a lot of people don't realize is like, all right, let's think about what is an AI, like what constitutes something being an AI machine system, whatever you want to call it. And it basically comes down to like, number one, can this platform actually learn? Does it take in data and interpret decisions based on that data? Does it act like a human? Is really the artificial intelligence. Is this a human? It's kind of hard to test. The Turing test, I think, is a perfect example of like, is this a human or not? So if you look at Google as a whole, you know, they've been collecting data on us for voluntarily at that. Like we voluntarily give up. We search on YouTube. We look on Google Maps and we're going to type in different locations, and Google's just taking all of that data, and then they're creating a customer profile of us. Right. And so they're literally taking all the data and they're making decisions on it. So if you go into Google Ads, if you make a search, actually, if you make a search, you're going to say, oh, where is the nearest barbershop around me, right? Like you just got a haircut yesterday. So where is the nearest barbershop around me? And you're going to get a bunch of search results. And based on those search results, is Google going, okay, in the past of all these other people, right? I'm going to show you all the relevant searches that has historically done well. And it's going to show you the ads. Ads are all algorithmic. The SEO searches, which is just the search results below the ads, all of it is algorithmic. So it's all encompassed into an AI machine. And really nobody talks about how Google is probably the biggest AI machine out there. They've been collecting data on us for years, and even more years.
Yeah, I think it's what's like really cool about that is on this you versus Google on this like ebook that you sent me. What page is this? Page 20. It says Google can predict intent, which means it can put somebody who's willing to buy your product in front of your ad before the user even knows what they want to buy. And that extends to basically they have all this history on us across so many different platforms where they really can predict if you are going to buy a product before you even know that product exists, which I think is really cool.
Exactly. I mean, how many times we'll be on Instagram, we may be on just a website, and all of a sudden you see a product and you're like, man, I was just talking about this with my friend yesterday. Yeah. Like it happens so much. So it's like they really know when you're getting ready to buy something.
Yeah. And how does that like really, I mean, people that are listening will understand like PPC, but like how can marketers like leverage that? They can access this whole platform that Google has. Like how can they leverage that?
Yeah. So it's like, if you think about it, right, like let's say you're advertising, I'm just going to speak specifically on Google Ads. If you're advertising on Google Ads, even if you're doing SEO, right, the best tool that you can understand from an AI perspective is not all these other tools that you're being, they're cool. They're going to help you be a little more profitable and stuff like that, make your workday easier, etc. But if you have a fundamental understanding of how Google Ads works, like how the search giant works in its fundamental ways, you're going to be better equipped to serve ads that are probably going to be a lot more profitable, get a higher click-through rate. Like all the metrics that you want to see for a good campaign, you're going to see a lot more by understanding the fundamentals. Because if we think about it, Google is going to serve the most relevant information, content, whatever it may be, whatever you're searching on. It's going to serve you the most relevant ones. So it would behoove you as an advertiser to not think about the customer first. Like I find so many people are concerned about, oh, what is my competitor doing? And what is Joe Schmo down the street doing? And it's just like, no, like, why don't you care about what Google cares about? Because they're the ones serving your ads. They're the ones putting you in the auction. Like your cost per click, it might matter 10, 20%. But the fact that you're not even, choosing the right keyword that matches to your landing page, Google's going to be like, oh man, like I'm not even why would I even serve this to this person? So you're going to actually be paying more for a CPC if you're irrelevant and you're not relevant to that person. So yeah, it's real big to understand.
Yeah, and I think that you hit on a really interesting point there is like you have to know the fundamentals of it. Just it's such a big platform where there's a lot of dressing on top of there's all these other AI tools out. But if you can really like nail the fundamentals of Google and the platform and the ads platform, that there's just so much leverage to be unlocked there. Because a lot of people I feel like they don't get the fundamentals right, and it is about getting those fundamentals right.
No, they just kind of dive in. They may see one YouTube video about
Yeah.
how, they watched a tutorial, they took a Udemy course,
Yeah.
and they're just like, all right, ad campaign, PMAX campaign, I'm good to go. And then all of a
Yep.
sudden, like, 30 days, maybe not even 30 days, they're going to be like, man, like I have no conversions or I have like not enough conversions to support my business. So that usually always happens. And then they start contacting agencies and like, I need a, professional with this. So
Yeah.
usually
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah, and I want to ask about that in particular as well. So if someone's driving their car, they're cooking, and they're listening to us right now, and they're thinking, "Oh, well, crap! Like I'm that person that's watched one YouTube video. I've taken one course on Google Ads. Like, oh, that's actually me." Where would you direct people to like really get like this foundational knowledge that they can use Google
Oh,
Ads for?
yeah. Like, I mean, I always like to ask, for other people, at least in the marketing space, where do you go to get educated, right? For
Yeah,
me personally, I'm a little obsessive, right? So, I mean, I started out doing PPC at a very young age. So my thought process was, all right, I'm going to dive into every single piece of every article I could find, like I stopped listening to music. I
yeah,
only listen to podcasts. Literally, I cut out music and only listen to podcasts and audiobooks. Audiobooks is another one. Just going in groups. Where are people talking about? LinkedIn is the perfect place. I tell people,
yeah,
around my age and your age, it's just like, why spend time on Instagram if you're not even going to benefit from it? Like I like to spend most of
exactly.
my time on LinkedIn, because I'm consuming content from people that are in my industry, teaching me how to get better on my career. So if you're just first starting out, go to number one, what is your learning style?
Yeah,
If you like books, I mean, sometimes I try not to go for Google Ads books so much,
yeah,
only because the platform keeps changing over and over and over. So that book may be outdated, but podcasts are an excellent source.
yeah,
Audiobooks, another excellent source. And if you can consistently watch YouTube videos for like, a good amount of time, maybe you'll get pretty good. And obviously having an account yourself is the number one way. Like
yeah.
I set up an account and I would just run tests. Like my first business was running it was my first business was selling squishy cat paw phone cases.
That's so
So
sick.
yeah, so it was like I literally was like, I'm not just gonna sit on the sideline. Like I'm gonna run these Facebook ads and see what I can do for myself. Run the Google ads and see what I can do for myself. So you just got to get experience, test, and just jump into an account. $500 a month budget, something small, and you'll be ready to go.
Yeah, I love that. And I do want to kind of go back to like the data here.
Hmm?
What are some of like the data levers when you're running PPC campaigns that you like to pull within like Google Ads? Because there's so many like there's so much data in here, but like what do you like most focus on when you're running PPC campaigns that other people should know?
Yeah, so you could kind of look at it. Sometimes you got to take a big step back
Yeah,
to assess like the entire campaign. But I will say this, right? If you're running a campaign, most likely you're going to be looking at all the metrics and you're going to be going, I have no sales. Like it's
yeah,
either I have sales, I have no sales, I have downloads coming in, whatever your primary action is.
yeah,
I always like to work backwards from that. So I run a lot of lead generation campaigns, right? Specifically for Ellington.
yeah,
So if I'm looking at all these lead generation accounts, I'm going, okay, step one, are we hitting those KPIs that we outlined in the beginning? Oh, we're not? Okay, let's
interesting.
start digging. Then I start digging into the campaigns. I'm looking at the metrics. I'm looking at all the numbers, such as, okay, what is the click through rate? What search terms are we even showing up for? That's like an instant. That's
Yeah,
like probably the first place that I go to, like the search terms report in Google Ads. Like, what are we showing up for? Are we showing up for relevant terms? If I'm
yeah,
advertising for a senior living facility and I'm showing up for uh, Martha Stewart cookie blend book or something so irrelevant. That was just a random keyword that I just had in my mind. Like, if we're just showing up for something so irrelevant and then you're wondering, why do I have no sales? That's your first place. Like narrow down the keywords. Another place I would look
interesting.
is, what is my click through rate? Are my ads even relevant to what people are like? That's the easy way to decrease the amount they have to pay per click. Make your ads more relevant to what people have. Then my biggest one of the biggest shifts that I've had recently that I learned from Alex Hormozy is having a better offer. So like
Ah,
literally, instead of just like so many people, they're just gonna send the traffic to it's like a page, and it's just gonna have a contact us form, right? It's just,
Yeah.
hey, contact us, please. It's just
Fingers
like
crossed.
fingers crossed, please just contact me, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And it works, right? And even beforehand, when clicks were so much cheaper, it definitely worked. You could just send them to a contact page. I've done it before, that's how I first got
Yeah, yeah.
started. But it was like you have to think about what does that person want and how do we actually want to be sold to, right? I don't want to just meet you. I don't know. I don't know you. I don't like you, and I don't trust you yet.
Yeah.
So it's like having an offer, a lead magnet. Number one for me has been a lead magnet that's changed the game for me, and then also having a better offer. So like,
Mm.
let's say for a barbershop, right? I'm gonna say if I go on 2 landing pages, right? I click on barbershops near me, right? I
Yeah.
click on ad number one. Advertiser A is saying, hey, we're the best barbershop in town in Tucson. Come and visit us, right?
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like, all right, cool. I see the portfolio, nice. People got some nice cuts. All right.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
go to advertiser number two. Advertiser number two says you get one free haircut. And on this, and if you ever,
Interesting.
I guarantee your haircut. If you do not like your haircut, you don't have to pay a dime. Which one are you gonna?
Yeah,
I'm going for number two. Especially if the portfolio of the haircuts are the same. Like if you're neck and neck with a certain part of your business,
yeah.
the best way to differentiate it is a different offer. So, I mean, those are just a couple of simple ones. So, landing page, looking at all your metrics as far as like how are people seeing your ads, how are people, what keywords are you showing up for? I think I said your landing page and your offer.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah.
What I think is really interesting about that too is like you can get like all your metrics right. Like you can have like your customer segments like down to a T. You can have all the data on them. But really what it comes down to, a big majority anyways, is that like landing page and the offer that you have. And that example is like perfect of like the barbershop. You need to have like a good offer. And what are some of the offers that just like in your own experience that has worked like really well for you, or what you would recommend people to do?
Yeah. One I would say is offering a guarantee. That
Mm.
like helps a lot. Like if I'm able to, like I said, just back to the barbershop example is the easiest one.
Yeah.
If someone, sometimes you might be like, even with me, right? If I go get a haircut and I don't like it, and maybe not like it was just something off. Sometimes like I'll go back home and I'll look in the mirror again and be like, dang, I think it's like crooked.
Yeah.
So it's like, so it's like if a barber is offering, money back guaranteed illicitly on his website in
Yeah.
full display. If you do not like this haircut, I don't care if it was 5 days ago and I cut your hair, you get a money back guarantee.
I love that.
That's terrific. Like I have my trust level. That's the biggest thing. It's like most people don't trust other people. So if you can put things in your offer to get them to trust you. Another one is scarcity, urgency. Like what is the number of it? How long are you doing it for? I know for gyms, like I was a personal trainer, right? Gyms are like the freaking king of this. Fit Body, I think that's the actual company, but like Fit Body Boot Camp, like that's a name for one. 30 days to 30 pounds, Booty Bastard Masterclass. And it's just like all these other names, all these offers, they'll run for like a short period of time. We only have 25 spots left, and we're only running this for the summer. So it's like having an offer that's scarcity, urgency, trust, a guarantee. And another one that Alex Hermosi teaches it specifically is like the offer stack. So like, for example, let's say I'm selling a course. I'm selling a book, right? I'm selling a book about Google Ads. Along with the book, you're going to get my playbook for how to do keyword research, my exact audit checklist. You're going to get, and then the list just goes on. It's almost like those infomercials back in the day where you see like 50 million DVDs and, it's just like stacked up. It was just like, dang, how can I say no to this? An offer so good, I feel stupid saying no.
Stupid saying no.
Yeah, so it's like all that stuff, it really contributes to a really good offer.
Yeah, and you are referencing $100 million offers here for anyone listening, I presume anyways. What I think is really interesting, just in my experience, is that guarantee back. An agency I run, Spacebar Visuals, like that's what we do. It's like buy any of our packages, and if you don't like your first video, we'll give you your money back guaranteed, like no questions asked. So guarantee is always strong. Scarcity is great. The Psychology Persuasion has a really cool research report where it was basically they had like 2 jars of cookies here. And one of them had like 5 cookies in it. One of them had like 30 cookies. Same recipe, same person that made them. And they asked, well, which cookie was better? And people said the cookies in the 5 jars, just because that scarcity is there. And that's like a real thing that people need to be playing on. But like not everyone does it. And it's such a powerful thing with urgency, the money back. There's a lot of different ways that you can really optimize a landing page.
And the fun thing is too, if you just look at the competitive space, no one's really doing it that much.
Yeah.
Especially like in the small business realm, like I don't see, many people doing it at all. Like we'll take on clients and some of them just want to send, like I said, traffic to just a contact form. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like 10 fields long. And it's like, why would anyone fill this out if they don't know you? Like you're reaching out to a cold audience. So you have to find that way to build that offer that people are going to be like, man, I want this. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Is there a way, because trust is a big one as well when it comes to like PPC campaigns. Being a marketer, like how do you build trust? How do you build trust in PPC campaigns?
yeah, I prefer so like I like the strategy. Of course, there's going to be immediate ones, right? Like immediate trust things to kind of get your cold audience. Like, all right,
Yeah.
this looks like a reputable company. Number one, probably having like a good website. Not a website that looks like it was built in 2006 or something.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
a nice updated website. Testimonials, certification, badges, like any of the accreditations. I know a lot of small businesses will do the BBB accredited. Like
Yeah.
that one just, I don't even know what it is, honestly. But when I see it, I just feel a little more like I can trust this company.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I have no clue what it even is. But it's just like that perceived trust factor. Like, oh, I know the BBB accreditation. So testimonials, any type of accreditations, courses, like certifications, any of that stuff. If you can immediately place it on your landing page or anything like that, or somewhere front and center, like you could put in your ad copy. Like some people would be like Joe's lawn mowing service in business. Oh, another one would be like years in business. So like
Yep.
if we've been in business for like 20 years, someone's gonna be like, all right, they've been around for 20 years. So that's another big trust factor. But I really personally like testimonials. Like
Yeah.
that, I think that's literally the biggest. Another person talking about your business, especially if you could get them on video. Oh my goodness! Like if you
That's
could get a
gold.
person on video, that is like the most golden way of building the trust. And then what I also like to do is I'll run campaigns. So like I'll have literally a separate campaign called a retargeting campaign.
Yeah, yeah.
And the purpose of my retargeting campaigns, some people just kind of send it back to their original page and they'll just throw an ad up, mimic the exact cold campaign.
Yep, yep,
But
yep.
there's a reason why somebody didn't convert on the first time around. So what I do with the retargeting campaigns is I try to address any of the objections that they would have had, any of the common objections. Oh, pricing, right? So like if I was running a campaign for Ellington, right?
Yeah.
There's an offer out. Boom, person sees it, click on it. They look around, scroll around. Oh, I don't care right now. They
Yeah, yeah.
leave. They're gonna get an ad. Maybe like they may be on YouTube and they might see a video testimonial, right? That
Yeah.
just right there knocked down a barrier of, oh, I don't know about this company. Well, this person that's also in your industry, a fellow, a competitor of yours is also in, working with us. That just built trust right there. Then I might go, hey, we're actually offering this for only something amount of money. I bet
Yeah.
they didn't know the price. A lot of companies don't advertise price. So we may just tell them the price straight up, straight front. So I'm just knocking down all the sales objections
Yep,
right
yep, yep.
there in those retargeting campaigns. So that's another one to just build up trust, especially with a cold audience.
Yeah. So I do want to ask about the retargeting campaign. So if someone's in their Google platform, like what are some of the ways that you put together a retargeting campaign within the Google platform and like leveraging the tools that they have to like make it most effective? Like what metrics are you looking at or like, yeah, what are you looking at within Google?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different ways that you can do it. Like you kind of have to think about it. What is? I think a lot of people have to work backwards from the numbers first.
Yeah.
So, and they have to look at all their numbers together. So
Yep, yep,
that's
yep.
another thing. So it's like you have to look at how much you're spending on the retargeting to acquire the customer, and then that cold campaign is also going to go into it as well. So I'm looking at numbers such as, okay, what is the click through rate? Has this,
Yeah.
are people actually clicking back on this retargeting campaign? And I usually like to set up a display campaign. So historically, display campaigns usually have a lower click through rate compared to like search or anything like
Yeah.
that. So like you might just have to, adjust your kind of metrics depending on whatever campaign type. But yeah, I usually like to do a display. There's also, if you're like e-commerce, you can do dynamic retargeting. You can do PMAX. I know is another big one that's been, so many freaking people talk about PMAX campaigns. So you can test that out. But it's really just going to all be about testing. And then it's like if your metrics, the metrics that you have to set up are the ones going to be what are your primary goals. So if I
Yeah.
know that conversions are my primary goals, I'm going to track the conversions. Like on this cold campaign, I get 30 conversions for a cost per conversion of $30. On my
Yep, yep, yep.
retargeting campaign, I'm going to compare that and be like, okay, what can I get on this retargeting campaign? How well is me handling this objection comparing to that cold audience? And then I'm looking at how many times has a person seen it before they converted. You know, so like I'm just looking at so many things that are just how well received is this campaign to that person.
Yep, yep,
Basically, is
yep.
what it is.
Yeah, and there's like the Google platform is like crazy. Like it will be able to like tell you all this information. It's like super intuitive UX, as people know. But like, where are things like heading like right now and like into the future with Google? Like, what are some things that people should know about like the Google platform when it comes to like AI?
Yeah, I mean, I see. There's of course been some pretty big AI changes, right? Like, I know they've on the shopping network. Like, so if you try to go find, if you look up, I think it's only specifically for women's that they're running it right now. It's like only certain categories of clothing. But like, for example, they have AI generated like try on. So like, you can try on
So
clothes.
cool.
You can see yeah, like you can see what clothes actually look like on your body type. So like, I know, they might try to put a Victoria's Secret type of model on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
front and be like, yeah, this is what you're gonna look like. And it's like, no, not everyone looks like that. So it's like, so they enabled you to look at a bunch of different types, and it's all AI generated. Like you could just put on a pair of whatever shirt that you were looking at. Oh, what does it look like on this model? And you can switch to another one. That's all AI generated,
Sweet.
and that's just in the shopping experience. But what a big thing that I've been kind of like contemplating and thinking about was like it's already happened, right? There's already ads within these chatbot like ChatGPT, Bard AI, Bing. There's already ads within them. So I've been really interested in like if one day Google removes the search bar and just
Mm.
literally enable, like if you click on Google, you don't get led to, the Google search that we're so familiar with, Google letters and just search bar. Instead, it's almost going to be like a chat type of back and forth. And you're going to
Ah,
get ads a lot more specific. You're going to be able to be way more, like you're going to be literally communicating with that person, AI. You're going to be communicating with AI, not a person. But like, let's say I looked up best barbershops around me. Bard
yeah.
may show some, it's just going to show a couple things. Are you looking for one that's within 2 miles?
Mm.
Right now, Bard responds back, "Oh yes, I am looking for one within 2 miles." Now he just got more specific. I want one that specifically cuts across designs in hair.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want a barbershop that does cross design in the hair. Then they're gonna tailor that list even more. So now it's not just the people that bid the highest and whatever else Google's black box of triggers are for putting you in the auction. But now they're getting very specific. Oh, on this person's website, it says they do designs, cross designs, and all this other stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, like I feel like one day, the search feature is probably just gonna like dissipate.
Yeah.
So,
And that ties back like really nicely with like what we were talking about too, is that like you need to have like an optimized landing page that like hooks people right away, because that's ultimately what Google's like going to be looking at, is like what's the relevance on your landing page. I don't know, is that correct, or is how should people be
no,
thinking of that?
yeah, literally. If you go on, so like one thing that I would also implore people to do if they want to learn about Google Ads is go to the support docs. Like,
Yeah.
there's literally like an entire library of how to run Google Ads, and in it, it literally says we are taking into account of the keywords, like of the information contained on your landing pages. So whatever the final URL that you put into that campaign,
Yeah.
it's taking in that information, and it's going to say, okay, if this website has this landing page at least has
Yeah.
nothing that talks about anything of what this customer is searching for, you may just get dinged down like 5 more spots. It
Yeah.
may
Yep,
be
yep.
that much more harder to get on the first page or anything in front of your customers. So yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious because I feel like that's where like a lot of people go wrong when they're putting together PPC campaigns, but I don't want to speak for that because I know you're the one with literally like over like 10 years of experience almost at this point. Like, where do people go wrong when like they're thinking about like, oh, I want to build out this PPC campaign? Like, what are some of the things that like are commonly like kind of like commonly wrong?
Yeah, I think the most common things that I see. Okay, so I do a lot of audits. So like I'm just gonna talk from like what I always see whenever I go into these audits, and
Yeah.
it literally I just start rubbing my hands like, oh yes, this
Yes.
is
Yes.
gonna be so easy, like because the biggest thing, and it is literally so simple. It's simple enough in my head. I've been doing it for a while, so let me take that back. But no tracking, like it's
Ah.
like if you think about it, right? You're literally putting yourself at such a disadvantage. And I've seen people try to implement it, and I've actually seen a person, John Moran. I think he literally removed. He doesn't even have tracking on one of his campaigns. But it's like if you think about it, right? Especially if you're a new advertiser, Google Ads is a algorithm. Everything is based on
All
data
algorithm.
that they're collecting. Yes,
Yeah.
like so if you have no tracking, right? And you're just manually bidding it. Like, hey, you may have a CRM, but let's talk for like the most people that I'm auditing. Most beginners, they're gonna just set the campaign up, and let it run. You know, they're gonna use the smart, smart options. Then they're gonna literally click on smart bidding without
Yep.
any tracking, no data history, and it's like you're literally shooting yourself in the foot. Like it's gonna take longer for Google to try to optimize your campaign when you set it up like that. So the reason why tracking is so important is because let's say I have a campaign, right? The way I
Yep.
always like to set up my campaigns is usually I'll have manual CPC. Some I've tested out a couple times for maximize clicks and stuff like that, and it has worked out a couple times. But I've never tried it out with like a brand new spanking campaign.
That's
So
sick.
I usually like to do manual CPC, right? I like to tailor in what I can get as soon as possible. You know, like I want to get all
Yeah.
those conversions. I get a good amount of like I get a good amount of conversions that are actually quality because this is lead generation, so this isn't just a purchase. Not every lead is created equal.
Yep.
Once I'm happy with it, uh, I then start to actually turn on the bidding, like the automated bidding. And I literally, it's so crazy because I remember if you would have told me this 5 years ago to turn on any of that automated bidding, I would have been like, absolutely not.
No, no, no.
Like, no, I'm not going to give my power up to Google. But I've
Yeah.
really adopted a more of a join or die mindset. And that's because I've seen it perform so much better. Like you're giving Google the information and they're going to go out and find it for you. And they do it a lot better than you a lot of times because it's just like there's so many little intricacies like, oh,
Yep.
you can start testing and optimizing your time of day. And then, oh, well, what about in this city? These people are up at this time because they're hard workers, but in this city, it's more laxative. They're up, they're looking at ads in the afternoon. You're
Yep.
most likely to convert at this time. How are you going to, there's so many moving parts that you can adjust that it's just like, why would I do it myself when I could just have Google give them a good amount of leads, tell them, hey, this is this is the person I'm looking for, go find it. And they get really good and they can get even better with if you're good at, setting up your bidding optimization. So
I love that. I like that example there because it's like a big thing to like trust someone else. It's like an entrepreneur like delegating tasks. It's like, oh, like I know I can do this so much better, but like this is Google. We're talking about they have data on like literally everybody, which I think is super funny. But let's go to our last segment, which I'm gonna be super excited for when we do these every single week, and that is our like drum roll, please, like tool of the week. So I'll hand it off to you. You have the tool of the week. What can people know that's just happening right now in the AI space when it comes to these tools that are coming out?
Yeah, so granted, this is not a new tool, really. I mean, it's kind of new to the market, I guess you could say. But tool of the week is Bard AI. So it's Google's version of ChatGPT. And I just wanted to keep it consistent since we're talking about Google here. Let's talk about what their chat feature is doing.
Yeah.
So I've played around both with ChatGPT and Bard. And I've like done, search in here compared to the search in that one. And the cool thing in ChatGPT, they removed the feature to search online and stuff. But and so that means like literally all the information is cut off. I think at 2021.
Yeah,
I think is where it cut off, right? Yeah. So Bard AI has all relevant, ongoing information. It's constantly learning. It's already updated. So I've been testing out different things, and it's like, oh, it's so cool how I can actually look up something and see it in real time. I will say this. There's one big caveat about Bard AI, which I found through my research. So this is me being totally honest. I'm not like a Bard AI fanboy or anything, but it's like I'm doing certain searches sometimes, and I find that it will literally just it's almost I think they've called it like hallucinations. Like they'll say like the platform starts hallucinating because it will literally just give me information that I don't even know where it came up with it from. Like if I asked it, what are the open houses this week in Tucson, Arizona? What are the open houses? I put it in Bard AI, and it'll literally just give me a random list. I don't even know where it came from, and I cross check it, and it's just like this isn't even a real event. So like, there's that thing. Yeah, like it'll hallucinate sometimes, but I do like the fact that it's up to date. So there's that big benefit.
Yeah, let's say so. A little caveat there with our tool of the week, but we are super excited to bring those to you weekly, and we're super excited to bring this podcast to you guys weekly. So, Angel, thank you so much for today and talking a little bit more about it. That was an awesome episode. So, a lot of insights away. So, thank you so much.
100%. Thank you, man.